Number 10, I was thinking about throwing Skyrim Special Edition on this list, but I was like, you know what? I can't do it. It's not originally an Xbox One game. To me, it's just like and it wasn't a remake, you know, because I do have a remake on this list. It wasn't remade from the ground up or anything like that. But 10 is probably one people won't agree with. Final Fantasy 15. I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was fun. It had the combat that now Final Fantasy, the remake and rebirth have. 12, I think Final Fantasy 12 kind of started this kind of combat, and then they kind of went away from it. And then I think they came back with it for this one. They might have done it in another one before this. But nobody got, I can't remember their name. Noctis, Prompto, he's Ignis in the background, and Gladios, or Gladio, they call him Gladios. They're four friends, and they go out, it's an adventure, right? And they have to save the world. I enjoyed this game. I did like the game world, you're driving around in the car, picking up old Final Fantasy tunes and playing them on your soundtrack. It's an alright open world. It's not like massive, but I did like it. It just wasn't huge. The combat was fun. The story was decent. I forget the main bad guy's name, Arden or something like that. I'm gonna forget a lot about a lot of these games, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. If I really thought harder, maybe this could have been knocked out. But I didn't want to look through my games forever, and I was trying to think of games that I had sold. Like I said, there's one game in here that I don't have anymore that's on the list that I don't own. But I was trying to think of other ones, and I'm like, oh, maybe I forgot one. I'm trying to think of ones I played digitally as well. But I did really enjoy this game. There was some DLC, like chapters for each character and stuff. I think there's some mini games in here as well, from what I remember. Massive boss fights, like after you beat the game, like you fight this giant. I think I did end up beating it. It just took a long time. It wasn't necessarily hard, but it was just taking a while. This like giant turtle thing comes out of the mountain. But yeah, it was a cool game. I can't remember a ton of it, but it was enjoyable. That's number 10. Let's try to find 9 here. I'm like looking at them now and trying to put them in order. Yeah. South Park, The Fractured But Whole. I really liked this game when I got it. I think I got it from Game Pass. I mean, not Game Pass, GameFly. And then I picked it up again because this was like, it was the gold edition. It was like $10 or $15 new, and it has the DLC in there. It was Casa Bonita and something else, I think. But I wanted to play those, and it's got the Stick of Truth full game in here as well, and some postcards, some other crap. But really enjoyable game. If you're into South Park, you'll like it. The South Park comedy, right? Trey and Matt are doing the voices and everything. I think they wrote like the dialogue for the game as well. They're very hands-on, I think, in this game and Stick of Truth. This one is not turn-based like Stick of Truth is. This one is like a grid-based, like a strategy game, like a Gladius or something like that. But this is more of a grid. You don't really have a meter, just moving around spots. But it's doing that character arc when it was the Avengers type shit. So they're all superheroes. But it's pretty funny, you know, you're going around South Park doing stuff. You're pretty much playing the show. If you're not into the South Park humor, you're probably not gonna like it. It'd probably be hard to play through it all, but as a game, even if you're not into South Park, as a game and the mechanics and stuff, it's actually a really good game. In boss battles, you're traveling around. It's not a huge open world South Park here, just going around. It's not massive by any means, but And the combat was fun. I actually like the grid-based strategy more than the turn-based from the other game. And people have special attacks and stuff like that. I think you have a decent amount of people, and I think you can only use like maybe 3 or 4 in a fight. I can't remember. But it was a really cool game. Once again, I played this, Scott. I mean, I originally played it, I want to say it was like 2018. When it actually came out, 2017. But it's fun. Number 7. No, wait, number 8, sorry. The Evil Within 2. This game's awesome. Like, this is a legitimately really good survival horror game. I did not play the first one full. I do have it downloaded, but I never beat it. No, this one was gifted to me. So thank you to the person that gifted it to me. This is a while back. 2020, maybe? Really good game. What's the guy? Sebastian Castellanos. You're playing as him again, and you actually end up in this thing. You gotta guess it's like a world. Like, I don't know the full story of Evil Within. Like, I can't remember a lot of the stuff, but I forget the group. I guess your daughter's taken to this. She's in this thing where you gotta go to sleep. It's almost like a Matrix type thing. There's like a world in there, people living in, and the world's like falling apart now. All types of crazy stuff's happening. You go in there, and you gotta deal with stuff. It's actually kind of cool because it's like it's a little bit open gameplay in areas. We're actually going around doing stuff. There's this other thing. I don't know if this character was in the first one. Like, if you go into random spots, you like go into this weird world, like kind of dream type thing. And this, like, I think it's a woman. Like, it's like almost like inspired like a Japanese kind of urban legend type thing is just trying to kill you. You gotta avoid it. The boss battles are cool. That's one of them. Stupid the camera for his head. He's crawling around after you. It was fun. It was cool. The story was decent. Disturbing enemies in there, which I like. It's got that stuff. These are the people that made Ghostwire Tokyo as well. They have been shut down, which is a shame, but it was cool. The combat was pretty fun. Like I said, there's parts, especially the first part that you're in. There's like a kind of a bigger area where you're going around doing stuff. You're searching around for supplies and shit like that, trying to avoid enemies and stuff. It's really cool. It looked pretty good. Honestly, the gameplay was solid. I actually really liked this game quite a bit. I think I did a gameplay of it. I can't remember for sure. But, well worth checking out if you're into survival horror. That was 8. Yeah, I'm gonna probably say 7 is Dead Rising 3. That's the game I don't have. I used to own it, and then I just sold it. This is before I decided to go kind of nuts with the kind of Xbox One collecting. I don't know why, but there's a lot of the games are cheap. You guys gifted me at least like 10 or 12 as well, or maybe even a little more. Once again, thank you again. And like I said, you buy them on sale and stuff, and that's a bunch I don't have open. You know, it's like $5, $10 game. Oh, I gotta grab it, you know. Dead Rising 3 was great. I can't remember the main guys. I'm pretty sure you're in LA, right? It's pretty open, big area, and the gameplay is just there, you know, and you're combining the weapons and stuff. A lot of classic Dead Rising stuff. It's just fun. They're fun games. Dead Rising and 3 really peaked in terms of just getting it all right. I think 4, well, I liked 4. I think 4 took a step back. I forget the guy's name, but it's kind of open too. I think you're doing some side stuff as well. You're running around this area. Then you have to leave that area and you go to another one, you know, kind of a bigger area and stuff. But it was a good amount to do. Like I said, the combat's fun. It's just fun when you're combining these weapons, getting this crazy stuff, just going nuts. There's a part in the beginning of the game where you can get like a certain weapon and you're just going into the mobs of zombies and just leveling up so fast because you're dealing. It's actually, I don't know if it's really a game-breaking thing, but they would put it in there for a reason. But like if you stay in that first area and just start, I forget what this thing is. It's like forget. I don't know, there's like a flaming skull on it. Just like this giant kind of thing, and just leveling up super fast. But the game was really good. Looked solid. I think it was a launch game, right, for the 360. I mean, the Xbox One. I'm pretty sure it was a launch game, and it stayed exclusive to the Xbox One. Did it end up on PC? I don't know. It never came to the PlayStation. Dead Rising 4, I believe, would have. Did Dead Rising 4 come to the PlayStation eventually? Because I think that was actually exclusive. That might have been a timed exclusive. I honestly can't remember. I had to play Dead Rising 4, but I played it on the. That's another one I hadn't sold. I played that on the Xbox One. It's a really cool game, though, Dead Rising 3. It's fun. That's the thing. It's like a super fun game. Alright, so that's number 7. I'm looking at these games here, trying to figure it out. Number 6 is... That's loud motorcycles. Number 6, Halo Infinite. Really like this one. This is the best of the... is it 343? They call that anymore, but this is the best of the Bungie, non-Bungie Halos. It's much better than Halo 4 and 5. Now, I enjoyed 4 and 5 well enough, but in terms of like the Halo, they are on the bottom for me. Like, those are probably the 2 worst ones, even though they're not bad games, but they're just not, I don't know. They're missing something that the other Halos that Bungie had. But this one got it kind of back. So, the war with whoever was the didact or whatever you were fighting in 4 and 5, you end up like, kind of, I think you're on a ship. Yeah, you're like floating on a ship. This guy pulls you out of space because, I forget the brute's name. They're part of the Banished. He like messes Master Chief up. And this guy picks him up in space. And you're kind of hanging out with him, breathing for a little bit. Then you end up on another ring. It's like a shattered ring. It's like partially destroyed. And, it's open, like you're doing stuff. You're doing like little side things. Like, oh, you gotta save these Marines over here a couple times. You gotta take out high-value target type things. Like Yap Yap the Destroyer, I think. It's the grunt. On top of doing the regular missions, it brings back a lot of the original Halo music, which is great. You get in vehicles. You are finding stuff too, I want to say. Not in the skulls you find, but there's other stuff. I think there's some kind of collectible in there. But super clean hijacking vehicles. It's different vehicles, Covenant vehicles and stuff, or the Banished. The Covenant, they're just the typical Halo enemies. I don't know if they introduced something new here. I can't remember. It looks really nice. You know, it's like a decent sized world. They're doing something with these, like, kind of ruin type stuff too, I think. Scanning them or something like that. The story was alright. What's her name is, I want to say it's Cortana, right? You have another Cortana in this one you come across. Pretty much another Cortana, which is like a clone, maybe. I'm probably wrong. Regular Cortana is still around, but I do interact with her because she's talking to the Banished main person. This game gets tough. I want to say I played it on Heroic. And there was the end of the game. It's like almost a 3-tier thing. You're like, there's one area, you're fighting like hunters and other stuff. Then you move out, you do a boss fight with the guy. I just remember getting pissed off with this one boss fight. It took me a while. It's towards the end of the game. But the gameplay's super fun. You know, Halo gameplay, even in the games that aren't, I hate to say none of them are bad, but or not as good as the other ones. The gameplay's still there. It's a super fun game, and I heard, are they even making it, like, I remember hearing rumors like it was just Halo was just going to be multiplayer after this or some shit. I was like, are you kidding me? This is really cool. I think they alluded to like another, I think the Endless or something, a new enemy that they're 10 times worse than the Flood. I was like, why don't you just bring the fucking Flood back, okay? I remember it was Halo 4. When there's like new enemies, but they're like, oh, you're gonna fight all new enemies, and like literally within 5 minutes of the game, you're fighting the same old Covenant enemies. It's like, really? And then other enemies came in and stuff, but it was cool. And obviously you're doing the main missions and stuff. You can do stuff off to the side, then come and do. You're getting different things. I think you have the grappling hook in this one. You get some other like things you can equip, abilities. I think you're finding, I think you find like fallen Spartans and you could get their abilities or whatever. It's a really good game though. 1097. So that was 6, right? Okay. Now I gotta look. Number 5. Sunset Overdrive. This was an exclusive for the Xbox One. Made by Insomniac. Obviously well known for Ratchet and Clank, the Spider-Man games, the Resistance games. They did Spyro, right? The first 3 Spyros, I think, were their games they did. They did a shooter on the PlayStation 1 as well, but I can't remember what it was called. I think it was on the PlayStation, the first PlayStation, but they did, I think Spyro was their first 3, kind of like Naughty Dog did the Crash Bandicoot games first. The first like 3 or 4, or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure Spyro was Insomniac. We made another game too that was on both the 360 and the PS3. I can't remember what it was called. I think they did a downloadable game as well at some point. But they seem to be back with, I guess Sony just was like, no, you're coming back here. We're giving you money. We're not making games. This is an awesome open world game. Super fun, bright, and colorful. It's like Ratchet and Clank. It's like Resistance. You're getting all types of crazy weapons. You're doing like those infamous games. You're going across the freaking like telephone wires, like grinding across. Super fun combat. Some pretty big, cool boss fights. Buzz Osborne from the Melvins is in this briefly. It's like a little tower defense type thing you gotta do for a little bit. I have not played this in a while. This game was like $5 new when I got it. But the weapons were really, really cool. This thing, you fight this thing, you're like grinding around. It's like some kind of cola they've given and the people are turning into creatures or something. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It probably tells you. Yeah, contaminated energy drink. Transform people into toxic mutants. But it was just another super fun night. Just really gorgeous looking game. Bright and colorful. This is a really cool game. Sony was probably like, okay, they saw us, probably listen, dude, we're buying you out or some shit. This is an awesome game. Check this out, and I assume it's still extremely cheap. There's some DLC for it that I never played. So that was 5. I got my final 4 here. Yeah, I'm gonna put the Resident Evil 2 Remake at 4. This game's awesome. Just a fantastic remake. It's a remake of a classic. You're obviously playing as Leon and Claire in this one. You play as someone first, and then you play it. You can start off with whatever you want, and there's certain different parts in it. You're doing a lot of the same stuff, but there are different areas, so there's some extra gameplay there. Looks fantastic. It's just a classic, and it's a remake while feeling fresh and new, while still maintaining the old school vibe of the originals, while actually probably being a little bit creepier than the originals as well. They have a cool bonus mode called the Ghost Survivors, which is people that died in the game, like Kendo, the guy who owns the gun shop, the woman who's killed by the mayor. Right, it's the mayor, or it's the police chief. The police chief was a serial killer, right? Wasn't he? Or was it the mayor? I forget. And some other, like, an umbrella agent and stuff. I think you play one as Hunk as well. But that's kind of cool. You got to do things at a certain time limit and stuff, and you're just limited ammo and stuff. It's waves of zombies. It's cool. I'm pretty sure the Mercenaries is in this. I'm actually not sure if the Mercenaries is in this. It's a good question. I can't remember. But it was just a great game. It looked really nice. It was just a remade Like that, I have no problem with them remaking games from back in the day, fully remade up with some bonus stuff and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's classic Resident Evil. You're finding new things. Oh, I found this new weapon here. You gotta do little puzzles here and there. Find a crank to put in this, or a freaking gear, whatever you're finding, you know. It's awesome. The 3 remake, I did enjoy. I know a lot of people didn't like that one. It was more action movie, the 3rd remake. It was cool. I liked it, but this one is a lot better than that one. And the 4 remake is really good too. But this one is awesome. Number 3. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. What's in here? Oh, they actually had a manual for this one. I did play the DLCs for this one too. Is it Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone or something? Both really cool. Blood and Wine was pretty long actually. It was like 30 hours. Hearts of Stone was more like 10, but Witcher 3 is a fantastic open world game. It's based on the Witcher. Well, it has the characters in the world and the stuff from the Witcher books. It's not based off any book. It's like, was in this CD Projekt Red did their own kind of stuff after the last book, I guess, ended. And they went on, and they did their stuff with it. But your Geralt is always Geralt of Rivia. A lot of side quests. This game can be depressing. It's a lot of, the Witcher world is very gray. It's not like a lot of things end up poorly for people in the Witcher world. The Wild Hunt is after you in this one. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. They're trying to get Ciri. Right? That's how they're trying to get in this one. You go into cool areas. It's a really nice realized world. You're fighting different monsters, right? What is it? Silver for monsters, steel for humans. You're brewing up your little potions and taking them before going into battle, as always, and stuff like that. This is a lot of side quests, a lot of stuff to do. Pretty cool story overall. The voice acting's all great with all the people. I keep forgetting the other Witcher's names outside of Vesemir. The other 2 guys, I forget their freaking names. One guy's kind of a dick, and the other guy was like really good friends with Geralt. They were really good friends when they were younger and stuff, and going through the trial of the grasses or whatever they call it. And they turn you into a Witcher and give you all types of shit. Yennefer's in here, Triss, Marigold. All the people are in here. There are. One sec. Oh, sorry about that. What was the... I forget the guy's name who... I forget their names in general. The people that they're fighting against. I forget what they're called. Their group's called. Completely forget. There's a bunch of different endings, I think, in this game. I can't remember that guy's name. Oh, I forget what he... It's that giant... These are the other big army that comes... it's messing shit up. They're always there. I forget their freaking name. It's been a while since I read any of the books. Game is fun. The game looks fantastic. It's a great open world game. Like the open world in this game is incredible. Top 5, right? Open world for me. Top by one of the games I'll be showing next. But absolutely play it if you haven't. The Witcher 2 is really good too. Assassin's Kings. I played some of the first Witcher game. I always forget those 2 guys' names. They were in the show too, and they were in the show, and the one guy who's really good friends with Geralt, they made him out like they ruined that dude's character in the show. I have no idea why they did this. It was weird. I didn't understand that. That kind of annoyed me, and I typically don't get like that with that kind of shit. But it was unnecessary. Like they could have just had a random, because there's a bunch of Witchers in the show, right? They could have had just made up a dude who was like a complete asshole joke. But I forget the dude's name. I don't know why they did that to him. Yaskier's in here as well. Why can't I remember their names, man? It's the 2 of them. The one's kind of a dick. They all have unique personalities, which is nice. But yes, those two. I'm not gonna look at those two guys. Eskel. I think one of them's name is Eskel. That's the one I think is friends with Geralt. I think it's Eskel. But anyway, it's an awesome game. Check it out if you haven't. I gotta put what I gotta put. I was kind of battling between the two of these because I love them both. There's completely different games, but I gotta put the one at number one. But number two, Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This is the gold edition with the awesome deal. This game has incredible DLC. I'll talk about that briefly in a minute. This game's awesome. When I first played this game, this was the first Resident Evil that was actually, for me, creepy. I never found the other ones creepy. I thought the atmosphere was very good, but I wasn't creeped out. We had that dreadful feeling from like a Silent Hill or a Fatal Frame and other survival horror games as well. Silent Hill. I'm taking like the bigger franchises, like, you know, I'm not talking about like the newer stuff, Outlast and the Slender games and stuff, and tons of other survival horror games. So I'm kind of going, you know, kind of bigger. Although Fatal Frame's not necessarily huge. Those two games, those two series, Silent Hill, Fatal Frame, always creep me out a lot more than Resident Evil ever did. But this game was legitimately creepy. It's in first person. You're Ethan Winters. I was gonna call him Ethan Hunt. I'm like, wait, that's Mission Impossible. You're Ethan Winters, and you get like a message from your video message or something from your girlfriend. She's your wife at that point, your fiance or something. Mia, right? It's Mia. And you go to Louisiana, and then all of a sudden you go there. The Baker family's been infected with the mold by Evelyn. Is that her name? And it starts off rough for you. Like, it's rough. You get your hand chopped off. You're getting roughed up in the beginning of this game. Like, it's intense. It's creepy. Like, Jack Baker's like walking around. All of a sudden he busts through somewhere. You gotta run. And you get, oh shit, I gotta hide somewhere and stuff. It's just awesome. Looks good. Like, it's classic Resident Evil gameplay as well, but it's in first person, so that adds to it. Pretty decent story, you know, by Resident Evil standards. You feel bad for the Baker family, except Lucas. I think Lucas was the brother. He was kind of always a dick, I think, before him, but Zoe was. And there's Jack, and Marguerite is the wife. The DLC in this game's awesome too. The one is where Marguerite has in the beginning of the game, you're doing like a ghost hunting show with these people, and they kind of die. One of them gets grabbed. I think you use one of those people in the DLC, or one of those people, cameraman, and Marguerite's got you like chained up in a bed, and you have to like escape before she comes back, but then you have to go back into the bed when she comes back and have everything the way it is that she remembers, or she'll be like, you what, and kill you, whatever. And eventually you try to escape. I don't think you do. And then there's the 21, I think it was called. Yeah, bedroom was one with Marguerite. Jack's 55th birthday is a cool kind of it's like a cool mini game where you have to get points and blow up enemies. To get more points, you gotta keep feeding Jack all types of food. That was fun. Ethan Must Die, I think it was like I don't know, hand-to-hand combat, I forget. Daughters, I can't remember. 21 was the one with Lucas, where it's almost like a Saw movie, which is really cool. I did a part of that in the Resident Evil main game. It's like a Saw type, escape room type thing. And Enda Zoe, and Not a Hero, you play as Chris, that was free. And then Enda Zoe's more of like a traditional one, where you're playing as Jack Baker's brother, I believe. Just an awesome, creepy survival horror game. It's really good. Has the classic Resident Evil stuff in it while being in first person, being legitimately creepy. It's just a fantastic survival horror game. It really is good. Like, they came back and hit it out of the park with this. Especially a lot of people didn't like 6. I liked elements of 6, but I hated parts of 6. It was annoying. And then they come back, and then this one's just... I mean, I think Revelations 2 was after Resident Evil 6. So they were getting there, because Revelations 2 is actually pretty creepy, too. But this was like the next main game, and it was like, oh shit, okay. It was just a phenomenal game. And number 1, you probably can guess it, Red Dead Redemption 2. I was thinking about putting Resident Evil 7 at 1 because I love that game, but this just is a masterpiece, and that is not exaggerating. He plays Arthur Morgan here, and you're part of Dutch's gang. John Marston's in there. I forget a lot of the other people's names at this point. There's Uncle's there because he's in the first Red Dead. I forget their other people's names. I really. You save a woman in the beginning, and she ends up part of the gang. Because you're in the snowy mountains trying to figure it out in the beginning, and you come across this cabin where this wife, I guess they killed the husband, right? And the wife was kidnapped these people, and you help her, and then she ends up part of the gang. I forget her name. I forget a lot. Charles Smith, I think, is someone's name. Sadie, I think her name is right there behind Arthur. Sadie. This game looks incredible still to this day. What was this, 2018? I saw that this game didn't win Game of the Year. Although I think one Game of the Year was a God of War. I guess you really can't shit on that, but really this game is just this is a game of a generation in my opinion. It looks incredible. This is probably the most realized game world you'll ever play in. So much stuff is happening here. There's people everywhere doing stuff. Great side quests, cool story. Arthur, spoilers, gets tuberculosis at one point. It doesn't end well for him. And you can play the game either way, and there's a little different ending part when he dies. I played the game good. Like, I wasn't an asshole to people. I was always doing the right thing when I could, because I felt like that's how his character should be. He was, it's kind of getting his redemption. Right. Mika is another one. He's the mole, or the asshole, alright. And there's other ones as well. I forget that one guy, another guy. Most of your crew dies, a few of them don't. Cool missions, like there's a cool bank robbing mission that goes wrong because Mika's sold you out. You don't know he's the rat at that point. That's a good one. A few people die there. There's so much to do. You're coming across weird stuff too. Like I came across this thing in this old church. It's like, come back. They come at 2 a.m. So I went back at 2 a.m. and there's a UFO above you. It's weird stuff like that. I think there's a serial killer one you can do, side quest. That's really cool. A lot of cool stuff in this. The one with, I forget her name, Charlotte, I think. There's a really good side quest with Charlotte. You can do that after as well, but if you do it with, maybe you can't do that one, because you do play as John Marston after, and you do a bunch of stuff with him, maybe like 5-6 hours of gameplay, maybe more. Big open world. You could just ride around your horse and be like, holy shit. There's some mini games in there as well. I think Texas Hold'em's in this one. I don't think Horseshoes is in this one. Horseshoes was in the first one. There's tons of stuff to do. The side quests are incredible. I think there's train robbing mission or two. Dutch is a good character. He obviously appears again in Red Dead 2, the first one. Because this is a prequel. Because you're building John Marston's home and stuff. But it's just a phenomenal game. Arthur Morgan is a great character. Everybody, the voice acting's so good. You get attached to your horse. I remember my horse died. I had this horse the whole game, and I literally almost choked up. I was like, "Oh my god, no!" And Arthur's like, "I'm sorry" and stuff. It was such a good fucking game. And this isn't Rockstar. This is the weird Rockstar humor in here as well, but it's not shoved in your face endlessly like GTA 5. And some of the other 4 was a more serious GTA, which I give that game credit for. But 5, it's just the goofiness is just ramped up to 20. This game's not like that. You get the weird GTA type humor in this, but it's a serious game. And it's just so good. The game world is so incredible in this game. It's a 10 out of 10. You gotta play it if you haven't. You probably have. It's just incredible. It really is. It's just something else. I'm forgetting a ton with this game, but that's the kind of basics and stuff. It's just so good. And you're trading stuff. You're bringing money back into the pot for the gang and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure, right? You do stuff. You bring money in. I think you can put relics and trinkets in there too. I forget. Seriously, I'll play this game. All the people in the gang are great. The interaction between everybody and stuff is really good. You can hunt certain animals. Well, you can hunt. I think you hunt all the animals, but I think certain ones, there's special ones you can find. Great side quests as well. The Charlotte one's actually really good. A lot of people are like, oh, I want Charlotte and Arthur to end Fantastic game. Obviously play it if you haven't. But if you have, you know it's that good. But yeah, that's just a request here for my top 10 Xbox One games. And thanks for checking us out. And have a good day.